Hello everyone, welcome to my video. This video is based on time value of money. In this particular video, we'll cover the basic concepts of the time value of money, how the money changes its value over the period of time, what are the different factors that affects the time value of money or value of the money over the period of time, how to calculate future value of a current cash flows, or how to calculate present value of future cash flows. That we will going to understand in this particular video. So this particular video will help you to make your investment decisions using time value of money. So it will be useful in your business problems, solving business problems or your personal finance problems. So my first question over here is 10 years back, if you can able to buy two chocolates in 10 rupees, but now you can able to buy only one chocolate in that same 10 rupees. Now, what has changed in last 10 years? Why you're not able to buy two chocolates today, the same 10 rupees? The answer lies in time value of money. So let's understand what is time value of money and how it works. So here is the example. What will you prefer? To receive 1 lakh rupees today or receive 1 lakh rupees after 5 years? The answer is again, you want to receive 1 lakh rupees today. Why? So there are different factors or reasons for which you are expecting the money you should receive money today, the same amount instead of after 5 years. What will happen or what will happen with this same 1 lakh after 5 years? So first of all, you can say the first factor is inflation. So inflation will erode your purchasing power. So today, if you can able to buy, let's say, some 100 goods in 1 lakh rupees, may not be possible to buy the same quantity and same quality of goods after 5 years in same 1 lakh rupees. So the inflation is the major factors that impact the time value of your money. Again, there are different investment opportunities. For example, if you receive 1 lakh rupees today and invest at the rate of 8%, 9%, whatever the rate of interest or rate of returns available, then this 1 lakh rupees will grow to some value after 5 years. So near about 1,50,000 or 1,60,000. That is the expected value after 5 years. But instead of receiving this 1,50,000 or odd amount, will you prefer to receive 1 lakh after 5 years? So answer is no. Because you have the different investment opportunities to grow your money in the future. Also, you may require funds for the emergency. Again, with your funds, there may be certain risk. So you don't want to take a risk or you want to take some limited risk with your capital. Again, there are different interest rates applicable. See, if you see for last few years or last few decades, the interest rates are decreasing continuously in India. Because as India is growing towards developed country, automatically all these interest rates are coming down. So possibilities are there that in next 5 years or 10 years, the interest rate will be nearer to 4 or 5%. And uncertainty in the market. So that's why anyone will prefer you should receive 1 lakh rupees today so that you can take a benefit of investment opportunities or also the current economic conditions to grow that money in next few years or 5 years. So these are the 6 factors that affect your time value of money. Now, let's understand what is the concept of time value. So simple definition is time value of money is available today is worth more than the same amount received in the future because today's money can earn returns over time. That means if you invest this money at let's say 10% of return or interest rate, it will grow to 1,10,000 in 1 year. or in next 5 years at the same rate of interest, you will get 1,61,000. So that means your capital as well as interest is getting compounded over this period, and this 1 lakh grows to 1,61,000. So TVM is nothing but a foundation of finance. Without TVM or concepts of TVM, you cannot proceed with the finance or financial concept. Because whether it is a DCF valuations or any kind of valuations like future value or present value or different types of cash flows in businesses or in personal finance, it is equally important. Concept is same everywhere. So that's why it's a foundation. Okay. Now, again, we can say, why does the money, a time value of money values? So as we have already discussed about these factors, inflation. Again, I have taken a one example. In 10 years back, you were getting 200-gram Maggie at just 10 rupees. But nowadays, we are getting only 100-gram Maggie. So what has changed? The same rupees, but we are able to buy half of the quantity. So is the 10 rupee has been decreases, or the value of that 10 rupees has been decreases? Because inflation, opportunities cost of risk, or consumption preferences has changed over the period of time. And there are again multiple investment opportunities that lucrative opportunities that helps you to grow your money much faster at different rate of returns. It depends on your how much risk you are ready to take. So for conservative investors, for risk averse investor or risk taker investor, there are different types of opportunities available. So receiving money today and investing at certain rate of return or in certain avenues, and you can grow that money or multiply that money in few years or few decades. So that's why receiving money today, and that is the best option for the everyone. So let's understand how to measure a time value of money. Because today's money is not equal to the tomorrow's money. Or we can say because of inflation or other factors, the money loses its value, which we have seen over the period of time that 10 years back you can able to buy 200-gram Maggie for just 10 rupees, but today you can able to buy just 100-gram Maggie. So that's how the money decreases its value over the period of time. So that's why we have to work money, or you have to employ money to work for itself and grow better than the inflation rates. Okay, let's understand a basic concept of simple interest and compound interest before going for the time value of money, because simple interest and compound are the foundation for TVM. So we have already learned this in school days, that how simple interest is getting calculated or compound interest is getting calculated. Okay, so that's for that I'm just taking one hypothetical example. So let's understand your initial investment is 1 lakh rupees. The rate of interest applicable is 10% per annum and tenure is 5 years. That means you have invested 1 lakh rupees for 5 years at 10% rate of interest. So if you are getting a simple rate of interest, you will get for 5 years. If you are holding this 1 lakh rupees, then you will get 50,000 as a simple interest. That is 10% of 1 lakh. That's 10,000 rupees per year into 5. So for 5 years, you will get 50,000. So total future value, that is your initial capital, investment amount, and interest amount for 5 years. So that total gives you 1,50,000 at the end of the fifth year. But if you invest the same amount of money at compounding rate of interest, okay, so here there are different compounding frequency. We'll see that later. So let's say right now we are going for an annual compounding. So using your formula, that is equal to A stands for your future value or a amount which you are getting at the end of the period, which includes your capital and interest. Then P stands for your principal amount. R is the rate of return or rate of interest. T is your periods in years or time in years. Okay. Now, so same amount is now invested at 10,000 rupees. Sorry, at 10% per annum for 5 years. So the amount will grow to 1,61,051 rupees. Now, why there is a difference? In simple interest, you are just getting 50,000 as an interest for 5 years, whereas in compounding interest, we are getting 61,000. That is 11,000 extra. Now, what has changed or how we are differently calculating compounding interest? So let's understand this particular table. Okay. So for simple interest, so first year, every year the interest is calculated on the opening balance or we can say the principal amount or initial investment amount. So that's why initial investment amount is a fixed for all the years. So in this particular case, 1 lakh is fixed for every year. Okay. So every year 1 lakh is fixed. And 10% of that 1 lakh 10,000 is calculated as an interest for every year. So total interest calculated as using simple interest formula for 5 years is just 50,000. That is 10,000 rupees per year into 5. So 50,000. However, in compound interest, what is happening? Yeah, first year it's same, that 10% interest calculated as 10,000 rupees on 1 lakh. And then the new closing balance at the end of the first year, that is 1 lakh plus 10,000, will be a opening balance for the second year. So here we are getting interest on interest. Okay, that you need to understand. And for second year, 1,10,000 will be your opening balance, and 10% of 1,10,000, that is 11,000, is the interest calculated for the second year. So your total cumulative interest will become 21,000. And so the final closing amount at the end of the second year is 1,21,000. And it's same for subsequent years. So 1,21,000 will become opening balance for the third year, and new interest will be calculated on 1,21,000. That is third year principal interest amount. And again, you will find interest on interest will get accumulated. So at maturity or at the end of the period, your 1 lakh grows to 1,61,051. Whereas in simple interest, it will grow only to 1,50,000 because there is no concept of interest on interest. So that's why we have two different things, simple interest and compounding interest. So the difference, if you see that 11,051 rupees you will get extra when you invest your money at compounding rate of interest. Now we need to understand what is this compounding and the frequencies. So compounding is means how frequently you are calculating the interest or returns and you're adding it back to your initial capital so that next period the new capital, that is interest plus original capital, will become a new capital and new interest will be calculated on that. So there are different compounding frequencies. So generally we go with the annually compounding or yearly compounding, but we can also go for semi-annually or quarterly or monthly compounding or continuous compounding. So this is the formula where you can able to calculate your future value for different compounding frequency. So let's understand the same example. Now look at the same amount, 1 lakh rupees invested at the rate of 10% for 5 years. But if you change the compounding frequency, so initially it was annually compounding, so you are getting 1,61,000. If you change it to semi-annually compounding, you can just check your value has been updated to 1,62,000. If you change it to quarterly compounding, again you will get some additional amount because as your compounding frequency increases, your final value will also increases. So maximum compounding frequency here I can able to show is that is monthly or even daily. So when you go for the monthly frequency or monthly compounding, your final amount will be 1,64,000. Or I can show it in this particular table. Okay, like if you choose a different compounding frequencies, let's say yearly, you will get 1,61,000 for half yearly, 1,62,000 and so on. So as you increase your compounding frequency, your final amount will be higher, okay, than the lower frequencies. I hope that you have understand what is the compounding and why we should higher compounding frequency to compound our amount much faster and gain more amount at the end of the period. Now, so once you have changed the compounding frequency, your effective annual rate will also change. So this is a formula to calculate the effective annual rate. Now let's understand again with using Excel. So same example. Initially, I'm putting annually frequency, and you can see this particular figure. Okay. Yeah. So this is ER, that is effective annual compounding rate. Okay. So for first year, sorry, if you are going for the annually compounding, so there will not be any change because this 10% will be the same as it is because it's an annual compounding. But if you change the frequency to semi-annually, automatically your effective annual rate of return will changes to 10.25. That means if your compounding frequency changed, you'll get certain extra returns. Okay. If you change it to further quarterly, it will give you some additional interest rates or your CAGR. Okay. ER is nothing but your CAGR. It's compounding annual growth rate or it's IRR. Okay. So this is nothing but your effective annual growth rate. Or even if you go for the monthly, then it is 10.47 and so on. So as you increase the compounding frequency, definitely your final amount will also increases along with the effective annual compounding rate or nothing but your CAGR or IR. So this is how we calculate different rates or even the present value or we can say the final value using simple or compounding interest with a different compounding frequencies. Now let's understand the difference between the compounding and discounting. Because in time value of money, either we have to go to the future or we have to come back to the present day. Because either we need to calculate future value of the present cash flow or present value of the future cash flows. So that's why we are using compounding and discounting. So when you want to calculate future value of the present cash flow, we are going for a compounding. And if you want to know what are the present value of the future cash flows, we are going for the discounting. So let's take an example. Do you want to know if you invest 1 lakh rupees today at the rate of 10% per year for 5 years, where the rate of interest 10% is compounded annually or interest is applicable as a compounded annually, then what will be the final value of the 1 lakh? So in a previous example, we have seen the same example that 1 lakh rupee has gone through 1,61,000. So present value of 1 lakh will have a future value of 1,61,051 rupees in 10 years, in 5 years at a rate of 10%. Now, this is just an example we have already seen. Now, let's understand what is discounting. Discounting is what? Let's say one person want to know how much amount I should invest today so that it will grow to 5 lakh rupees after 5 years. And the rate of interest is again 10%. So here we are doing a reverse calculation or using this PV formula, which is nothing but the modified formula of the future value calculations. And here the 1 plus R is considered a discounting factor. And the power N shows that how many years we are going to discount it. Okay. So for example, let's consider using Excel. So first of all, future value, we need to calculate 1 lakh rupees. If we are investing at a rate of 10% per annum, the compounding frequency again, we are considering annually for let's say 5 years. Okay. So you'll get the same amount, 1,61,051 rupees. Now, if you want to know that you want 5 lakh rupees after 5 years, rate of interest is 10%. Compounding for interest is 1. that is annually. So how much amount you should invest today so that it will become 5 lakh rupees after 5 years? So answer is 3 lakh 10,000. Okay, using the same formula or Excel has a different formulas. Okay, so here you can see the different formulas, PV calculations formula, or here you can have a FV calculation formula. So Excel has a different formulas which you can use to calculate future value, present value, and a rate of return period. Okay. Or you can use a simple formula. If you know the 5 lakh rupees is what you want after 5 years, then 1 plus R is nothing but your rate of return or rate of discounting rate. Okay. That you are considering 10%. So 1 plus 10% or 1.1, that will be your factor. And to the power n. So power n is nothing but your number of periods or years. So 1.1 to the power 5. That will be at your denominator. And FE, that is 5 lakh, it will be in your numerator. So this will give you the value of 5 lakh, which you are going to receive after 5 years at a rate of 10% compounded annually. The value is 3 lakh rupees, and odd amount we just have calculated. Okay. So this is how we basically calculate or use time value of money for going into the future or calculating value of the future cash flows on a present date. So this is nothing but the present value and future value calculations. As we have already discussed about various examples. So in present value calculation, we discount future cash flows to the present date, and in future value calculations, we compound present value to the future date. So we can calculate various values using these formulas. I hope the basic concept of time value of money, compound interest, simple interest, or even the difference between present value and future value and their calculation is clear. Thank you.